time to fuel your business success. Welcome to Harmonious at Lunch. We're bringing you bite-sized advice and expert conversations to drive clarity and growth 5 days a week. Make sure you join our Facebook group at humanopt.com/lunch, where listeners like you and our guests hang out so we can find harmony in business together. If you're building a business, you're in the right place. Let's dive in.
How do you set goals in your business and actually achieve them? I have no idea. I'm not very good at that. But our guest is, and we're going to find out today. We're going to break it down. And no, I asked him ahead of time. It is not the SMART goal framework. We're going to actually reach your goals. Tanner Haas, welcome to the show. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me on, Brandon.
There we go. We ticked the box right off the way. We made fun of SMART goals already. If you're
mission accomplished.
Yeah, I apologize. Don't take it out on our guests. This is all me. I'm not a fan of that framework. Anyway, Tanner, how to set goals and actually achieve them. It seems like that's a topic that's been covered before, but you have a unique framework. Why do you hate all the other systems, and why did you come up with your own? Let's start there.
I mean, I think most of it is just fluff. Like people, if you write down anything, you're going to accomplish it. Nonsense. I don't know if cursing is allowed on your show, so I'll just say nonsense, but there's more appropriate words I could have used there.
Nonsense is not a curse word, for those of you wondering.
Well, yeah, of course. So when I was 18, I started my first nutrition company, and I wrote my first book at the same age, and it was called The Art of the Goal, because ever since, I've been very goal-oriented, very focused since early teenage years. So I wanted to really just everything I've learned, put it into a book. I wanted to call my shots, and my next book was called How to Achieve and Receive Anything You Want. And so I wrote that book when I was 19. Since then, I have founded 4 companies, sold 2 of them. I'm now on my 4th, and I certainly hope that this one also results in a successful exit. It's called Freedom Chat. It's the world's most private messaging app. But today we're going to actually break down how people can set goals, how can they actually accomplish them. And it is not the SMART goal framework where you get your little notebook, you write it down, and at the end of the year, you're going to be, wow, I accomplished my goals. That's not how it actually works. Most goals aren't accomplished. And the reason is because people set too many. They're not specific, which is
there we go. We're starting the acronym already.
That is important, but it also is, you set too many. You set ones that everybody just starts to set things on their high, meaning like, hey, I feel good. I want to do that. Well, that's not a goal. Like the most important thing in business, they've asked Bill Gates this, they've asked Warren Buffett this, the most important thing, what do you attribute to your success? And the one thing they say is focus. So you want to set goals and accomplish every single one. Well, first and foremost, Warren Buffett also says this as well, is write down 25 things, then erase 22 of them. Those are the 3 things you need to focus on. So that the first thing is it's just focus. Like what do you actually, because you can't do everything. And that's in your business. Like what do you need to prioritize first and foremost? And then you can do the same in a relationship. You can do the same thing in your career development. Get rid of all the extracurricular stuff, because you'd be amazed how much you actually don't need to do, don't need to learn, don't need to try to accomplish. So that is the first thing. And I can keep it rolling here. Or do you want to chime in, Brandon?
Well, I'm curious on the focus piece. Mm-hmm. I also see that, and I don't know if this is part of the rest of your framework, but I'm going to ask it here. Focus is one thing, but also I'll call it vagueness, and not to hint at specificity, but if people are like in business, I see a lot of lazy goals. I want to hit 5 million in revenue. Yeah. That's that could be a realistic goal for you. That's so vague. Mm-hmm. To me, that's an ineffective goal. It's an ineffective target. Like I would rather you pick out, okay, what's the number of units you need to sell, customers you need to have, something you need to do that results in that metric. Mm-hmm. And that's your goal, not the byproduct of the metric. Is that a piece of the focus? Like when you say focus and you build this list and then eliminate most of it, mm-hmm. Is it also about the quality of the list?
1,000%. So how I broke it down was the who, what, when, where, why, but all encompassing that is focus. So when people say, I want to have 5 million in revenue by the end of the year, okay, do you know how much that results in per day, per week? Do you know how many clients you need to call? What's the average cost of your product? Like, if you break it down like that, and this is what I've done. I did this year for Freedom Chat. I mean, I had 5 things, and I said, we're going to raise X amount of dollars, and you break it down literally. Okay, well, that's 100,000 a week. That adds up to this. That's 50 phone calls. If I make 50 phone calls, and let's say I have a 10% conversion rate. Okay, that's how. So there is some wisdom in setting specific goals, but specific does not mean I'm going to make $5 million in revenue by this date. Like, that's not specific. If you
because you could argue that is specific, right? But that's what we're both saying is it's not. Like,
no, it's
just because
so
you pick a
ambiguous.
number
It
doesn't make it.
just putting a number does not make it specific. Putting a date you want to accomplish that does not make it specific. Saying I achieve this does not make it specific. What you actually need to do is put some thought into it, because this is not wishful thinking. You want to accomplish goals. Well, it needs to be specific, but it needs to actually be, like, break it down. So if you want to, let's say, you want to make $10,000 a month, whatever. That's not a lot, but break it down. Okay, well, $2,500 a week. My average product is $30 a product. Well, okay, how many do you actually need to sell? Well, 600. We'll break that down by, like, actually break it down. And when you break it down, not that difficult. And that's how most people, they get caught up and I'm going to do this, and they write it down, and it's in the present tense, and I'm inspiring myself and I'm going to do it. Well, no, you're not. You also have 82 other things you're trying to do. Just putting a number does not make it specific. And just putting it in the present tense, like, that whole framework is wishful thinking. And that's not how stuff gets done in the real world. That's not how stuff gets done in business. Like, you actually need to break it down. And each day you got to, okay, well, did I hit my sales goal of 22 today? If I don't get 22 today, each day I'm not on progress to have over 600 sales by the end of the month, and therefore I'm not on pace by the end of the year. Like, that's what I mean. Focus it is an every day, every hour type deal. Like, review your progress, and you should be narrow focused on 1 to 5 things. It shouldn't have 5 or 50 overarching goals that you want for the organization. If you look at any of these big ones, small ones, medium size, they're laser focused on a few things that they need to do. Get up subscriber numbers. Let's reduce churn. Netflix, their whole thing was reduce password sharing. Like, that was their focus, and increase subscribers. It's not, and they have a lot more priorities, a lot more things they could focus on, but it's so crazy when you get to the bigger companies, the more successful individuals, they focus on less. When you get to the smaller companies and the Joe Schmo who's struggling to get by, they have 1,000 things that they're focused on, yet they're not accomplishing any of them. So the first thing is 100% focus. You need to be laser focused. And then the second component is, you need to set specific measurable goals, but specificity, like, break it down, go through a little exercise. Actually think you want to make $1 million this year. Okay, break that down. What does that look like? Because if you want to make $1 million, did you account for taxes? Like, do you understand, well, I want to sell my business for this. Like, I broke it down. When I sold my first company, I was 21, and I sold it for a few $1 million. And the whole time, what I was focused on was sales. Customer acquisition, cost per click, churn. 3 things. Only focused on those 3 things. And then the overarching goal was to hit over 1.25 million in revenue. We hit that within 6 months, very quickly. And then we sold the business. And if people broke it down and were just laser focused, they would accomplish all their goals. Because if you actually put a thought into it, and you realize that I only have 3 things on my priority list, you're going to accomplish them. It's when you have 30 things, you're like, I didn't really want that. I don't really care if I have a 6-pack. Like, okay, if you actually break it down, what do I need to do come hell or high water? This is what I'm going to do. Break it down, specify it. It should be exciting. It should be like oh shit, can I actually do that type deal? It shouldn't be don't be lazy. Like, don't do something that I can already do. The whole current goal setting framework is just wishful thinking. They succumb to if you think hard enough about it, it will come. That's not true. So I could just keep going on a tangent. I'll let you.
I love this so much. So you're saying if I just chant my affirmations in the morning, I'm not going to be a millionaire? Tanner, how dare you say that?
Unfortunately not. I know a lot of people on YouTube, and they want to say that, and they want you to pay for their course. Well, they teach you how to manifest. I'm sorry. And if you're somebody that's paid for that course, then I wish you well.
Best of luck. You're probably not listening to this podcast, so
probably not listening.
Yeah, we're good. They're not here. Trust me. I derailed you though with that question. Focus is obviously super important. What else is involved with your system to make sure that we have our focus? How do we actually go execute and achieve this goal?
Mm-hmm. Well, the other one is break it down. So there's a book called The Checklist Manifesto, and it was recommended by, a number of top CEOs. And I do this in my personal life. I write down every single thing I want to do for that day. Like every single thing. Jamie Dimon does this. He has a little CEO of Chase. He has a little notebook. He writes down everything. So that's you can't just set a goal. You can't just review it break down your task every single day, every single hour. That's how you stay on track. That is what you do. So for me, I literally write, okay, I'm going to read the Wall Street Journal today, go to the gym for 60 minutes. I have all my calls on my calendar. I'm going to do this. I break down every single thing to make sure I'm moving towards the goals that I set. So overall, it's the who, what, when, where, why. All encompassing is focus. You shouldn't have too many things. So let's break it down. The next part, write down what you do each day. I actually have a checklist. It's not just a goal. I want to do this today. No, what are you going to do today? And the day does not end for you until that checklist is done. So if you say, I'm going to make 30 calls, then you don't stop until you've made your 30 calls. You don't stop until you've read this, you've done that, you've contacted this person. That's the other thing is every single day, either very early in the morning, 4 a.m., 4:30, I write down everything I need to do for that day, or the night before. And I don't just people would be so much more laser focused if they actually had a checklist and they don't have to think, well, what else did I have to do today? Oh yeah, I forgot about that. And then let's hack into, there also is another benefit to this. Studies show that every time you actually check off something from your to-do list, and I know I do this and I feel great after doing it, you get a little hit of dopamine each time you do it. So if you want to stay motivated and you want to avoid procrastination, write down your to-do list for the day, but don't just have it be vague. You're going to do this, you're going to do this, write it down specifically, attack that list with an unrelenting drive. Day's not over until it's all accomplished. And as you accomplish each one, check it off and just watch how much more you get done, how much more focused you are. Watch your brain. You're like, oh, I want to keep doing things. What else can I get done today? What else can I get done today? And all of a sudden at 8 p.m. at night, you're going to look back and be like, I got so much done today compared to what I did last week. And it's because you actually knew what you needed to do and you attacked it with, when people with their schedule, you want to look at the people that have destructive behavior, unproductive behavior. It's usually because they're not that busy. You want, even if you want to read for an hour, put that down and cross it off once you do it. Go through an actual checklist, get everything done. There's been research that this benefits the medical field. Doctors, when they're performing surgery, they have a checklist. CEOs, investors, anything. Make a framework, abide by that framework, and attack it with an unrelenting, unwavering focus.
I love it. I want to talk to you about reviewing that checklist or your progress too, because don't get me wrong, I'm a huge fan of checklists, but I've also seen this firsthand with clients where they make the checklist and they just do the checklist. We'll use your 30 calls. I made 30 calls. I made 30 calls every day this week, this month, this year. I didn't get the results. Well, did you review how the calls went and tweak? Am I talking to the right person? Am I saying the right thing? Is my offer correct? Whatever it is, instead of just going through the motions, constantly evaluating and updating the how you do that thing, that task, that item. So how do you incorporate that to make sure that not only are you focused when you create the list, but you're focused in the execution of the list.
Well, execution is worship. Execution is everything. So when I set my list, I don't just say I'm going to do 30 calls. Like I'm going to make 30 calls. I'm going to close 10 of them, and you break it down and you write down which leads, who wasn't turned on by your sales pitch, who was, why. Like that's the other thing, is actually evaluate yourself. Like we want to spend so much time. We have so many comments on what people do on social media, on what somebody else is doing with their life. But there's a lot of wisdom in don't throw bricks from a glass house. Like don't criticize others if you don't have your own shit together, and for lack of a better word. So when you set your list, one, it shouldn't be lazy. It should be so much so you're like, I can't possibly get that done in a day. Well, go attack it. Watch what you can do. Like earn your night of sleep at night, in all honesty. And ever since I've been 18, I've worked, it's been 16, 18-hour days. And in less than 8 years, I've sold 2 companies, started 4. And all of it's, I'm relentlessly focused on my goals. I'm relentlessly focused on what I have to do each day, each week, each month. So when you write down something, nobody cares about your activity. Nobody cares. They don't care how hard you work. They care, what did you get done? What did you actually do? So you need to bake your list. You need to bake your goals. And I did this today, and this is the result. And if you call 10 people and none of them close, well, yeah, tweak your pitch. And then tomorrow it's going to be, I'm going to follow up with those people. I'm going to follow up again. And you need to actually refine, tweak what you're doing. Don't just go, well, I tried my best. I put in the work. You didn't get it done, and there's no excuse. And so just change your framework as well, because there really are no excuses. There's a company I worked my butt off. It was shut down for regulatory reasons. Nobody cared. Nobody cares. Sold a company, and I'd say for the last month, I didn't work that hard. Company still was doing really well. Nobody cared. They care what the result is. So bake into your checklist, your goals. Like if you set a yearly goal, okay, review that on a, let's say, monthly, weekly, annual, hourly. Like make sure you're progressing towards that. Focus and do. The only thing that matters is execution. That is the only thing that matters. And that should be baked into your list. You should refine what you're doing to get where you want to go. Not just, I did all this, I did the activity. Nobody cares. And it sounds insensitive, but nobody cares. Like we all know this. The person that's going to complain to us, how are you doing, Steve? Not good. And you're like, I wish I didn't ask you that. And that's what we're thinking, because nobody cares. Nobody cares.
Yeah, you don't get paid for activity; you get paid for results. So,
100%.
At the end of the day, that you're right. It's harsh, but it's true. And if you don't like it, I'm sorry, but that is a fact. Like you have to produce results in order to get something. So, Tanner, I love this. So why don't we wrap up this episode? Tell me about Freedom Chat. I'll put the URL here on the screen. Give the audience a sense of what it is, and then why they should go check it out.
So Freedom Chat is the world's most private messaging app, period, full stop. And if you're listening, you're like, well, what about Signal, WhatsApp, Telegram? None of them. When you go, again, we broke it down. We were relentlessly focused on what differentiates us, and then we executed on that. So a lot of these messaging apps today, they say they have end-to-end encryption, which means that your message is encrypted while in transit. Nobody can read it. That's not true. The other, do you store messages on a server? Freedom Chat does not. We have no commercial use of user data. We prevent screenshots, screen recordings. You can edit, unsend, self-destruct. We don't support linked devices, which a lot of these other messaging apps do. Every single one does. So we focused, again, on our mission. How are we going to be the world's most private messaging app? We don't support linked devices, so somebody with one phone number can not go log in on 3 different devices. It's not as convenient, but it's more private, and we stand by that. And I mean, we've been talked about by some very high-profile individuals, and we're going to be kicking off our marketing later this week, and it's full speed ahead. But the goal for Freedom Chat is allow businesses, individuals, friends, family, associates to communicate in complete privacy, and we make it easy to do. And it's, if you have an iPhone, have a Android, go download Freedom Chat, send 10 messages. You will never want to use another messaging app ever again. I promise you that. And you just go to freedomchat.com, download the app, and start speaking freely and messaging privately today.
I love it.
Go do it.
The gauntlet is there. Go do it. Download it. Send 10 messages. And then put it in the comments if you liked it or not.
And if you don't, let me know why. And well, I won't get my feelings hurt. We're going to make it as perfect as possible, but I think everybody will be thoroughly impressed.
I love it. Tanner, thanks so much for being here.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me on.
Wherever you're watching, listening, again, the gauntlet has been thrown down. It's on the screen. It's in the show notes down below, freedomchat.com. Go check it out. I hope you enjoyed this episode. And then go set some goals that you're actually going to achieve. Go execute. If nothing else, if you got nothing else from this episode, go do something productive towards your goals and throw away your SMART goals, please. We'll see you on tomorrow's episode of Harmonious at Lunch. Thanks for being here.
Another episode of Harmonious at Lunch in the books. I hope this episode made you think and you grabbed some actionable ideas to propel your business. Don't forget to like, comment your takeaways, and subscribe wherever you're listening so we can help more entrepreneurs just like you achieve harmony in their life and business. For cutting-edge tools that bring